Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are creating a cool layout from the beach from our trip to Dingle. So when I say it's cool, I mean it was cool. Fall in Ireland is, yeah, pretty cool place. And the beach is not what you'd call Southern California sunny, but it was really pretty and we really enjoyed our time there. And this layout, I think, comes together pretty well. So I hope you'll like it. Before we get to that, though, let me just put a plug in for the sketch challenge that I'm hosting that starts tomorrow and goes through the 1st of June. Please, please, please come and register and join us. It's so much more fun when there's more people, and we would love it for you to be a part of it. You're going to create 8 layouts throughout the course of the month of May, 2 per week. And if you do all 8 of them, then you'll get entered in a bonus drawing at the end. There will be a drawing for each of the challenges, and you're going to win CM products if you are the winner of that drawing for completing each one of those challenges. So please, please, please go to the link that's in the description of this video and register for that. We're calling it the Spring Sketching Soiree, just for fun. So come and join us, and we'll get you all hooked up with the Facebook group and ready to go. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope you'll come and come along for that ride. In the meantime, let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and I have to apologize a little bit ahead of time in case you should hear any um, hollering or extraneous voices in the background. My husband is in the backyard doing some work today, and we have a few people helping him, and occasionally um, I hear stuff going on out there. I don't know what's happening, but I'll go upstairs and find out in a little while. Anyway, today we are going to go ahead and do the virtual crop sketch number 2 for April. And I realize it's basically it's May by the time you're seeing this, but I am working through them still, and I'm bound and determined to do them all. I did all of them last year, and it really helped me accomplish a lot in my albums. So I hope that my doing these is helping you and inspiring you to um, your use your stash and create your pages and get things done, because it's so much fun when your albums are up to date, or as up to date as you can make them, or when you're working on a trip. It's so much fun to get that recorded and done. Okay, so that being said, we're doing this one today. This one is super fun. It has lots of little pieces, and that makes it look complicated, but actually, I really don't think it's going to be too bad. Let's check it out, and we'll see where we get with this one. I'm as always, I have to modify this one just a little bit to accommodate my pictures that I'm using, but hopefully it will all turn out in the end, right? All work out in the wash. Um, and because you all know I work in double page layouts pretty much exclusively, unless I'm doing a last page or a title page. So this page is going to turn into a double page layout. And I think what I'm going to do is put the tile areas, the squared areas are going to be towards the outside of the layout. So it'll be like we flip this over on this side, but when we're done. At least that's my thought right now. We'll see how it goes. But I think I like the cohesion of having the photos in the middle and the photos kind of go through the center, and then the extraneous things on the outer corners. That's my thought process anyway. I fooled a bunch of scraps and a few laser borders and frames, which we're going to actually cut apart and use differently. They won't be frames in this layout. These come from, this is from Sweet Summer. And so if you have Sweet Summer, that's where these come from. They're really cool, and we are doing some beach pictures today. I know Ireland in September, beach. That's not really what you think of, but we did go to a beach, and actually we went to a couple of them, and not to swim, but just to kind of look around and take it all in. And so that's what we're working on today. So these will come into play as we are assembling our layouts today. We're also going to, because I only have 2 of these laser borders, because I only had 1 pack of those. Oh, and that's a good tip. If you are on the CM website, or you see the new products when they come out and you notice that there are laser borders that are included, take a look and make sure that you're getting 2 of each, because sometimes they've gotten a lot better here recently, and they include 2 of each pattern typically in a package, which is lovely, because when you scrap in 2-page layouts, you need 2 so that the borders match. Most of the time, I have found you need 2. Sometimes you even need 4. So just make sure you know what you're getting, and if you are like me and you scrap in 2-page layouts, you may want to make sure you have enough. Okay, and that may mean you need to buy 2 packages sometimes, but like I said, they are getting better so that you only have to buy 1 package and you get enough, but not always. So just keep that in mind. Um, so because I love these and I want to use them, but I know they're only going to work for a limited number of borders, and you can see in this sketch that you've got a border here and you've got a border here, so we need something extra. So I pulled some cardstock that kind of goes with these. I feel like it matches pretty well as can be expected. This is Island Waters, and so we're going to use that and to make the other borders and try to incorporate this frame to pull it all together. So we'll see how that works out. And then I have a bunch of kind of, I don't want to call them scraps, but they are scraps, some strips and some smaller, chunkier pieces that we're going to use for all those squares. And then this crackle piece, this white crackle kind of piece, sort of spoke to me that it looked like sand, or could look like sand. So this is going to be our main border that goes across the top and the bottom. So we're going to cut 4 pieces of this just for that. And then the rest of the paper here is for all of these squares. So let's get started, and we'll do some cutting, and then we'll get back to and talk about how these photos are going to be arranged. So I'm going to grab my 12-inch trimmer, and we're going to focus on these 1-inch strips first, and those are going to be made with this white crackle hopefully sandy looking paper. Okay, so we're going to just cut a 1-inch strip, and we're going to cut 4 of those. So we're going to just keep moving it over to the right to that 1-inch mark, and we're going to cut. Goodness, my brain's moving faster than my fingers. Okay. If you haven't already joined my May sketch challenge, we're calling it the Spring Sketch Soiree, I would love it if you would go to the link in the description of this video and sign up for that. It should be, I hope it's inspiring and it helps you accomplish even more. So if you have a project you need to do, I have found sketch challenges to be super rewarding, because I am motivated, and on top of that, I sometimes have the possibility of winning a prize, which is always nice to win something when you are working hard at accomplishing things. Okay, now I'm going to cut a strip of each of these that is 1 1/4, because each of these squares needs to be 1 1/4, and I need 10 squares for each section. So that means I'm going to need 40 squares. Now, that may seem like a lot, but I think it will be manageable. We're going to cut some 1¼ inch squares. So I'm going to cut 2 of this one because I know I have plenty of the gold crackle paper. We'll cut 2 of those, and then let's see. I'm going to cut some of these that I know are going to match both of those papers because they came in the same pack. So we're just going to cut some of these plaids. Unfortunately, I'm only able to get about one strip. Oh, look at that. That's the plaid on the back of the gold. So actually I could do 2 of this one because I have more of that gold paper over there. Perfect. Okay. There's that. Let's grab the gold paper and we'll cut another bit, 1¼ to match that plaid. Let's do some blue because we have ocean that we're working with here. So let's see. 1¼ and 1¼ is 2½. And I have more than 2½ with this, so we could get 2 strips. And this is not a full 12-inch strip, so we're not going to get as many, but we could still do 2. And let's see, we'll just measure on the left-hand side since it's already there. Okay. And then we could do some more. Let's use this one. I'll do one more of this blue. And this blue can be flipped and we can use the other side if we want to for, variation. We'll just do that for now. And then let's do a little bit of this. Well, do we want to do this plaid? The greens are... I'll do a strip of this plaid and we'll see how that goes. I like that there's a blue in this plaid because it will tie in this blue a little bit better. Just not sure that it really goes with this one very well. Those greens are just not super great. I feel like it goes with this one okay. I'm not sure why this one looks better than this one, but I just feel like it does. So anyway, we will see. And then we could actually do a little bit of this green too if we wanted. So, which is kind of bright. We'll see how that all ties together. I'm going to cut another one of this just so we have it. I can go back and get more if I want to. So just setting those over there. Okay. Now, like I said, we need 40 of these. So let me see how many we can get out of one strip. We're going to take the gold and we're going to cut these. I'm just going to cut both of them at the same time to save a little bit of inkst. So 1¼ Let's see how many we can get. There's 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Okay, so we got 9 plus a couple of little extra pieces out of 9 from one 12-inch strip. So that gives me 18 of the pieces that I need. And what did we say? We need 10, 20, we need 40. So we're almost halfway there. So that's good. We probably won't use all of those gold pieces, but we'll use a significant number of them. Okay, so let's be a little more selective about these then. I want to do this one, I know for sure. I think we should do this one and this one, and maybe we'll do the blues. And that will be more than enough. We actually don't probably need to do all of the blue pieces that we have. Maybe just a couple. Maybe just one for the time being. Okay, so we might come back and use those, but for now, I'm just going to use these 4 strips, and that will give us a nice variety of squares. And the gold is going to be our main color, since it kind of matches the pattern of the border. Okay, so I'm going to just cut these up, and then we will be, then we'll get to punching. Okay. All right, so now we're going to punch some borders with our cardstock here. So let me just move those, and we'll move these. So those are our little piles of our 1 1/4 inch squares. I'm going to set these strips over here. We'll probably use them in something else. I pulled out a border cartridge that I feel like kind of resembles these. Maybe not exactly, but it's kind of along the similar line to these laser borders, the Elements Edge border cartridge. So we're just going to punch a couple of those, and we may need just to jazz it up just a little by adding maybe an accent. Maybe we'll punch it in white as well. I'm not sure. But for now, we're going to definitely get this going. Okay, my cardstock is a little bit longer than my tray to hold it. That happens sometimes. There can be a variance in the exact measurement of the cardstock. It will always be at least 12 by 12, but sometimes it's a little bit beyond 12. So just keep that in mind. But it does still fit. Just go ahead and anchor it the best you can, and go ahead and punch. This is the Elements Edge, and I'm going to punch 2 of these with the Island Waters paper, and then I think I'm going to punch 2 more with some white cardstock to use as a bit of a shadow behind it. At least that's what I think I want to do. So we're going to just flip this around. We're going to do the other edge, opposite edge. And then we will trim it off. I don't know. Maybe I won't do the shadow. I'm on the fence. Tell me what you think. Maybe I will hear you by osmosis. Let's see how it looks without punching a shadow. Mostly because I want to trim this, and it's going to take a little bit more effort. Because this has a curve on both sides, these borders have a curve on both sides, I don't want to just trim this off flat. So I'm gonna use my scissors, and I'm gonna fiddly cut, people. I know, I can hear you groaning. That's not my favorite thing either. I just got that. Okay, so I'm going to start over here, and I'm just gonna cut using my scissors and visualize kind of an imaginary line. I know this is kind of risky, but I like the movement that the curve gives us. So let's see. This is going to take a little while to do, but I do like that better than just going straight. So bear with me. We're going to fast forward again. Hang in there. All right, so there we go. Both of those are done now. Okay, you may have noticed that I switched from my precision point scissors to my general use scissors, and it was because, and I love these scissors, I use them all the time, but for some reason they were aggravating this joint and making my hand hurt. So I tried these. These worked much better for that particular exercise. Anyway, just a little FYI. Okay, there we go. So now let's go ahead and work on assembling these. So I'm going to grab the first page, and first thing we're going to do is go ahead and take 2 of these crackle papers, and they're going to go across the top and across the bottom. Now you'll notice that they do match my Spargo paper quite closely, but by putting a border on top of them and the fact that there's so much crackling going on, I'm hoping that that will be sufficient for, oh dear. I never do that, but I just did. So this is a good lesson. When you're putting your adhesive on, do it not on top of your page. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm usually better than that, but of course, I'm on camera and I do it wrong. Well, not wrong, but I goof up. It's okay. All is well. All right. You can avoid that though if you don't add your adhesive right on top of the page you're putting it down on. Okay. So here we go with our first piece. Whenever I do a 12-inch strip, I tend to put adhesive in 5 places, but when I'm doing a 1-inch 12-inch strip, I just put a little along the edge just to make sure that it's, adhered all the way to the edge, or as close to it as I can get the adhesive. Anyway, I try to be consistent with that. A 1-inch piece is not going to need as much adhesive, so I'm not going to put adhesive down each of the long edges because that would just be crazy, I think. That's a lot of adhesive. You don't need that much. So I just do one row of adhesive right down the middle and then a strip on each end. And that is, I have found, more than sufficient. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take these two. We're going to use one at a time, and we're going to add them along the edge as our decorative borders. So I'm just going to center this as well as I can. I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive and get this. I think I want the smooth edge down and the curvy edge up. Okay, this border, as I'm noticing, goes a little beyond the 12 inches. So it goes over the jeeping on the outside. So that's just a quick note for you. And then this one, let's see, do we want it curving like that or like this? Maybe like this. With it like that. All right, so it only matters the difference in the way that the curves that are cut into the border, the way that they are curving. I could make them all curving the same direction, but I think I want them. Wow, as you can see, I'm really not decisive today. Okay, so I'm going to put this right against the center edge, and I'm going to put it right at the base of this that top swirl. That's going to go on the edge of my paper and help me line up my border so that I know it's straight. All right, like that. And then if the piece that I cut is overlapping my paper, then it's a little less noticeable if it's a little irregular. I can see the punched part better. Okay, so there is our first page as it stands. I'm going to grab this other page. Actually, let me grab one of my dividers. These dividers are handy for so many things. And lately I've been using them to place my photos on because since they are pretty much 12 by 12, I can get a sense of how my pictures are laying out on these, and then I can move them around when I go to film. So it just makes it easier to do a few things that way. All right, so here's my second page. We're going to start again with our 2 strips. Here I am doing it again. It's hard for me to do my adhesive not on top of my page when I'm trying to film it so that you can see it. So just know that it is a better idea to add your adhesive not on top of the page that you're building. But sometimes I suppose it can't be avoided. all the way flush to the jeeping, all the way to the top edge of my page and across. All right, now we're going to take this other laser border, and my idea was to make it go across the top and then put this one across the bottom, probably going this way so that the curves match. The other option, should we choose to accept it, is to keep that on top and put this across the bottom. And I think I like the alternating, so I think we're going to go with this. Let's keep our curves going the same direction though. So this will go this way, this will go this way. All right, so we'll get those stuck down. And I'm going to use the same general rule for how I place this as we did on the other page, using this curve, the edge of that curve, to keep my punched border going straight. Okay. All right. This one. I think we'll go with it right about there. All right, now the other thing I thought I might do is take this frame that's made from the same wave pattern as that and cut this apart. So I'm going to grab my precision point scissors and I'm going to try, let's see, I want to try to kind of mimic this. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure it will turn out the way it is in my head, but well, that's okay. We'll try it. Just gonna see if I can kind of cut this apart so that it will we can add a little bit of it to the punched side. Whenever you do this, I always feel like it's a bit of a risk because you just don't know how it's going to turn out. So you guys don't have to risk it. You can just watch me and not risk it. If it doesn't turn out right, you don't have to do it on yours. Or if you don't like the way it turns out, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it ever. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways. So I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more like it was meant to be this way. All right, so then we can add this in. And make it look a little bit more cohesive. At least that's my thought. Maybe something like that. All right, I'm just going to leave those there. We're going to look at them for a little while. Okay, let's take a look at these squares and try to get those arranged. I'm going to stick my adhesive up there for now. And we will just work with these. Okay, so I'm just going to put my little different piles of squares kind of up here. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to start with the gold ones and kind of go in an every other one type of fashion. So we're going to start up here and do a bit like this. And basically you're going to end up with 3 on one level and 2 on another. So I think carrying that through, balancing it like a checkerboard is the key. This is not where they're going to go. I'm just sort of placing them just to get a sense of balance. Oh, there's Maggie. There's Maggie. Letting her thoughts be known. Oh, we might need some more of these gold ones. Those 2 strips are not going to be enough to do it like this. We need 2 more boxes or 2 more squares. So let me grab that paper and we'll just cut 1 more strip. So you need, in order to do this pattern with the same paper, you need 3 strips of the same paper. Just a little FYI. Right. There we go. Now let's see if we have what we want to do the rest of this. Let's do the plaid first. Okay. So I'm going to place the plaid in that first little square in. And then where else could we put the plaid? We could put the plaid here on this square. So I like that plaid. I also like this plaid. Oh, wait a minute. That would go there. I want the blue, so I think I'm going to swap this square out. This is why I am practicing this, is because, or, trying this because I want to double check. Oops, that's not the right spot. Goes up there. I want to make sure that I'm using the squares that have the most bang for my buck, the most color. Let's see. Not sure we have enough blue. If we do, ooh, awesome. And let's do the green. All right. Now is the hard part. Do we like that? I almost feel like it would be better to repeat the colors of the waves in those squares, but I also want to be able to use up some of my extra things. Should we swap out some of the gold so there's not so much gold? This is the hard part, guys. This is the hard part for me anyway. As I just struggle with balancing colors and that kind of thing. I don't think I like that. I already know. I think if I'm gonna do the gold, I want to have it balanced. Let's go with it. This is taking way too long for me to decide. So let's just go ahead and I don't know. Maybe with the pictures it will change everything. Should we try putting the pictures on and see? Let's try that. Okay, so these need to move up, these need to move down. You can see from the sketch that we've got two 4x4s and we've got a 6x3. I had way more photos than would work that way. So what I'm doing is I have two 4x4 photos, one of Emily and one of my sister and I, that are going to go here like that. Then we're going to it's going to stay. Hold on. Figure this out. How was I going to do this? Yeah, that one's going to stay there. So we're going to I cut several of the photos into 3x3 squares. So we're going to put, and this one is a little bit high. I may need to trim it. But I wanted to include the whole sign and see if I could make it work first. Okay, so that makes that 6x3, and then I've got two 3x3 peekaboo pockets that are going to go on top of that. And then on this side, I've got this picture of the bay. This is all in Dingle, sorry. I always want to put a K into that. Dingle. And so this is the bay in Dingle. And I think I'm going to move that in. We could do either. And then I have a group picture and I have a couple of other pictures of us all in the water that I wanted to add. And I think that's going to go out here. And then these I'm going to cut to fit here and here. So those are going to be trimmed and fit in right there around that landscape photo. So lots of gray in these photos because it was a gray kind of overcasty day, but a little green here and there. So I think it will actually be okay. All of the colors we have in these are represented in the photos if you look really closely. So I think it will be okay. It's just going to be a little bit of a different kind of a page. Okay, I need to get over it and we'll just go ahead and get these appeared. So bear with me here. We're going to go ahead and take a few minutes and get this put together. So let's start with the left-hand side since it is a little bit more standard. Okay, I'm going to wait and do these in a bit. Oh, these are matted also in there. And we could mat them, and that might make all the difference. I don't like this green better, but All right. I'm going to so these pictures are 4 by 4, so we're just going to do a very thin mat. We're going to do a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to cut this one just yet. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and add. All right, my adhesive is hiding. Oh, that's because I put it away. Do you ever do that? Do you ever put something away and then you can't find it to save your life? Yeah, that's me. Okay, so we're just going to add this guy in here with its very nice and trim border, matte. And then maybe I will use see how it looks. Let's see how it looks with a 4 1/4 matte on that photo. We might need to rearrange your photos because I don't think I want this matte right up next to the punched border. I want it to spread things out a bit. So we put these guys, those crazy ladies up there, and this crazy lady down here. Yeah, that kind of looks, kind of helps spread that Island Waters color out just a little bit. I like that. Okay. I'm gonna move this, get it out of my way for a minute. We'll bring it back when we go to matte the others on the second page. All right, and so this is gonna go, I think, they've got it in quite a bit. We're going to go a 1/2 inch in. Let's try this. We're going to go 1/8 of an inch up from the top of my border and about a 1/2 inch in from the jeeping on the center. Okay. Let's see if that works with this up here. 1/8 of an inch down, 1/2 of an inch in. That gives me about 1/8 of an inch in between my pictures. Okay, let's see if that works down here. I'm going to use my 0 centering ruler to be able to keep my squares at the same level. Use my multi-purpose tool to pick these up and flip them over. Okay, so I'm gonna place this ruler right at the top. Oh, I forgot that I had not adhered that laser border. We'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, so bringing my ruler into the jeeping in the center just to keep it straight that way and down to the top of my mat here, and that allows me to know where these should go. So I'm going to give this give this an 1/8 of an inch. To start. And we're going to give this a 1/2 an inch to start. Let's see if this works. Let's see if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 1/2 an inch. That keeps that border consistent with this one. Oops. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to go with an 1/8 of an inch in between, and we'll see if that is sufficient. Let's see if the math works out when I didn't really math it at all. Just guessing based on what I'm seeing. Ooh, look at that. It almost works. All right. So let's just scooch these. So move this out just a little. Come on, pop off. Still trying to give it an 1/8 of an inch in between. Okay, hold on. My ruler moved. So using repositionable adhesive for this would be a really brilliant choice. And as I do the rest of these, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. First row is the hardest, they say, right? Okay, so there's that one. We're gonna flip the rest of these over. I'm gonna grab my repositionable adhesive. Oops. Okay, then these are going to go directly below with a 1/4 of an inch in between. Or maybe not quite a 1/4 of an inch. Well, maybe that's where I'm running awry. These are quite close. There's an 1/8 of an inch between them and the photo, but there's not an 1/8 of an inch in between the squares. So maybe that's what the problem is. Okay, we're going to approach this a little bit different. Sorry to take you down the wrong path, but I think this is the better choice. I'm going to make this more of a like a 1/16 in between. I think it will look better, except that that's too. Who knew we'd be just fussing with these squares? I did. Did you know? I knew before I ever even started this that this was going to be a fussy layout just because squares, they look so cool when they are precise. They can be a little bit fussy though when they're not. If they're not cut precisely, if they're not laid down precisely, they can be very fussy. Okay, let's go with that. And I'm gonna make the same 1/16 of a difference in between these. All right, so that worked out just a little bit better. Okay, now let's do the bottom. All right, so those are good to go. Now let's put these down. And remember, I needed to trim this one, so let me grab my guillotine trimmer. I'm just going to make this 3 inches just to simplify my life. Don't need all those little symbols at the bottom anyways, so it's okay. All right. So, as we started this day in Dingle, we took off from our hotel with our tour guide with the idea that we were going to go and visit several different sites. And we were driving in between them a little bit, seeing the rolling hills, which was lovely. So the first place we stopped was a beach there in Dingle, which was lovely. And of course, it was lovely beach weather, as you can see. Not. But, it was probably typical beach weather for Ireland. And because, as you know, they get a lot of overcast days there, a lot of rain. That's why they're called the Emerald Isle. So we were very blessed that we did not have a lot of rain that we worried about while we were there. We did have some, but we didn't have a ton, so we felt like that was good. And we were very happy to enjoy the few rainy days that we did get. They were fun rather than being crazy. All right, so here is our first page, the left-hand side of our page, and we've got our 3x3 peekaboo pockets, which will fold out like this to show some other photos. Okay, so I like that. I like the way that has come together. Let's check out this right-hand side of the page. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different, as we already mentioned. And I'm going to need to, I should measure where these photos are going to need to go. Nope, we'll do that after we get the squares put on, because that may change. All right, so we're just gonna get this put on. So that it's not moving around my table. Like that. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this. Am I going to turn that? Yeah, we'll turn it. Okay. Let's start with these end pieces. We know where they were on the other side of the page, so let's go ahead and we'll just do both of these end pieces at the same time. Well, in the same round, I guess is a better term. All right, so we're going a 1/2 inch in and an 1/8 of an inch up. Is that what we ended up with? Yeah, that works. Okay, so that's where that will start. And then this one will go right on top of it, but a smaller, more like a 1/16. Oops, upside down. Careful if you're using word scraps. Make sure they're going the right direction when you put them down. That's why I had to move that one. Okay, then this one's going to be 1/2 inch up, 1/8 of an inch from the top, 1/2 inch from the middle. 1/16. So let's just check and see if that is even close to the same. Lay that 1/2 inch line right on the edge of the jeeping, and it's reasonably close. We're going to go with it. All right, so let's do, I'm going to go ahead and get all the rest of these put on. Yes, yeah. All right. Now, this one's going to go right here in the middle, and I feel like we really ought to mat it. So I think we'll mat it using this Island Waters paper. Okay. Definitely cheers up the gloomy of the overcastness to have such a bright color. Okay, let's see the other pictures. We're going to need to trim them, but I'm going to use a different trimmer to put those on. So let's see, this one's going to go right in the middle there. So let's go ahead and get that put on so that we can judge where to trim these other photos. Okay, so I'm going to center this, give it about 1/8 of an inch from the middle, and just center it from the top group of squares, top block of squares and the bottom block of squares. Okay, so that's going to go there. Now, these two that we need to trim would probably do well to be the same measurement as the squares. And that's going to be roughly 2.5 inches, maybe just a hair more than 2.5. So let's go ahead and trim these one direction, and then we'll see how much more we need to trim. Okay, so there's 2.5. That one. This one I'm gonna trim the sky and then flip it and measure my 2.5 here. I'm going a little bit more than 2.5 just because I want to kind of be in the same. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And I'm gonna cut a little more than 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's 1/4. Let's go with 3/8 of an inch. We'll cut off. to make that work. Okay, then we were going to mat these, so maybe we needed just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and take another 1/4 inch from there and another 1/4 inch from there. To allow for the mat. There's a 1/4 inch from that side. Quarter inch from there. Okay. And we're gonna see if I can use this bright green to balance out the turquoise. Let's see if there will be enough. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit, we're going to have a little bit that shows. Actually, though, hang on. We can put this one there, and then we have this other piece. Oh, it's not quite wide enough. Okay, do that one there, and we'll do this one down here. And we'll just see a little bit of that, the dark green. It will be okay. All will be well. All right. Those over there. Get that put away. Let's get some adhesive on the back of these. All right, then I have these photos, which also need to go in here. I think we're going to reorder these just a little bit because I want that family picture to be on top. So we're going to make this picture underneath. This picture will be the flip, and this picture will be on top. And let's flip it up instead of flipping it. over just to add interest to the page. Yeah, this wasn't everybody in our group, of course, because there's only 6 people in this photo. So someone is missing. This I'm going to kind of offset but cover up a little bit of those squares. Just because I want to be able to see the rest. Maybe we'll kind of center that amongst those squares. That helps take a little bit of the sting of covering them up away. Okay, and then this will go on top of there and flip up like so. All right, this, the reason you might be saying to yourself, why does she have a picture of a mobile home in her Ireland scrapbook? That seems so odd. Well, it was pretty odd, but I have to tell you, this was the bathroom. It was really high speed. So if you ever go to the beach in Ireland, just know that their facilities are pretty nice. So I was really impressed. The water was even hot inside there. So when I washed my hands, the water was hot and it was super nice and clean and warm inside there. They had heat going. So it was lovely. And yeah, anyway, I had to make a note of it in my scrapbook, of course. Okay, so here we are with our sort of our finished page. I do still have this frame. We could cut this frame and use these pieces as accents on this page. I think it would be totally appropriate, and I have no plans to use this, so I think that might be, the best idea. We could just put a couple of them in each spot, and I think that would be more than enough. As far as journaling goes, there is a little bit of room here we can journal. I can journal and slip it underneath, so we can slip a long piece of journaling underneath there and pull it out, which may be what I end up doing. Let's go ahead and this has been a long video, so I apologize, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut these and arrange them on the layout, and you'll be able to see that in the picture that that gets posted for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know this has been a long one. This has been a lot. To turn this single page layout into a 2-page layout with all these squares is a lot. So there's a sample of how that's gonna go. All right. I hope this has been fun, and I hope this has been a learning experience for you as well as for me, even with all of the mistakes or original choices that were not the greatest on my part. So let me know what you think in the comments, because I always like to hear what you think. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.